They found a dead person at Iran's training camp in Mexico.
They found a child inside an abandoned vehicle in the Calimax parking lot.
Yes, this news is completely real. Look, they found a dead person at the place where Iran trains. According to local media, the body was found inside a car parked in front of the training center. Look, just so you understand, Iran is staying in Tijuana. Tijuana is in the north of Mexico. It's a border city, so it borders the United States, specifically the city of San Diego, California, where the Swiss national team is staying. In fact, the border between Tijuana and San Diego is the busiest in the world. Just imagine, this is extremely important because Tijuana is one of the world's most dangerous cities. It's in the top 50. If I'm not mistaken, right now it's the 18th most dangerous city on planet Earth. By far one of the least safe cities in Mexico. Just imagine, and well, there is the Iran national team. And unfortunately, well, this happened to them, which is already becoming world news. Look, the prelude to the World Cup. Things take a dark turn for the Iranian regime's delegation after the discovery of a lifeless body was reported just a few meters from their training camp in Tijuana. For those who don't know, they are practicing or training at Estadio Caliente, home of the Solos of Tijuana, okay? Oof, local authorities detailed that the victim was found in. Well, in a bag just like that. I know, unfortunately, and it hurts me to say it, there are a lot of memes in Latin America made about this. Regarding the black bags, that's it. The typical meme you can imagine, unfortunately. In fact, it was in a car, in a van, parked in front of the stadium. Just imagine that. Let's see what they're telling us here.
The discovery happened in the Calimax Hippodromo parking lot, right in front of Estadio Caliente.
I think the stadium is right here,
where the Iran national team is staying focused before the World Cup.
You can see from here where the Iran national team enters.
And even though there are members of the National Guard in the area due to the security operation related to the tournament, the body still remained inside a van for about 3 days.
3 days. It was there for 3 days, guys. It's incredible. Just imagine that. Honestly, it hurts me, but it doesn't surprise me. That's the problem. It hurts me, but it doesn't surprise me because this is everyday life in Mexico.
Without being discovered, according to the first reports, municipal police officers were patrolling when they detected a gray Toyota RAV4 from which a strong smell was coming. Well, of course.
You can imagine, right? Incredible.
When inspecting the vehicle, they found in the cargo area the body of a person wrapped in a black bag.
Vital, it can't be.
Officers from different police departments arrived at the scene to begin the corresponding investigations.
Preliminarily, it was reported that the truck had been reported stolen in March of this year in the municipality of Tecate. This information will have to be confirmed by the authorities as part of the investigation.
How dangerous it is. And look, there's something curious. I have a lot of followers in Tijuana, a whole lot. I can see my statistics, and there are a few cities in Mexico where I have an unusually high number of followers. One of them is Tijuana, another is Mérida, Yucatan. And where I think there are more followers per number of inhabitants, it's important to make that clarification. Maybe it's Guadalajara. Guadalajara, Jalisco, so many people, it's incredible. But I think Tijuana is in the top 3, top 4.
The victim's identity remains unconfirmed and no detentions have been reported.
No, this is just a normal day in Tijuana. My followers can confirm this. Those who live in Tijuana, comment, guys. It's something that I think is very sad because obviously there are a lot of people who live in Tijuana. It's a very big city. It's a huge city where there's a lot of money, but there's also a lot of crime because, like I said, it's in a very important border area, the most crossed border in the world. And be careful, unfortunately, Tijuana is very, very unsafe. Because this is where a large part of organized crime operates to transport you already know what into the United States. You already know what, and not just substances but also many times people into the United States. There are some of the famous coyotes in cities like Tijuana, and as if that wasn't enough, there's something very interesting. A large part of the weapons used by organized crime in Mexico are brought from the United States to Mexico because at these borders the Mexican government hardly checks anything. I mean, when you try to cross from San Diego to Tijuana, if you are, for example, Argentine and you cross by car, you could easily do it and the Mexican government won't even know you're in Mexico because Mexico doesn't check anything. Incredible, really? It's totally crazy. You can cross and obviously that's how weapons are brought from the United States to Mexico. But anyway, let's see what people are saying. Shocking discovery just meters from Iran's training camp in Tijuana, Mexico. The calm surrounding the Iranian team was shaken by a disturbing incident. Local media reported the discovery of a deceased person inside a vehicle parked in front of the complex where the team led by, I honestly don't know his name, is training ahead of their World Cup debut. The incident took place in the parking lot of a supermarket located near the Estadio Caliente, home of the Solos de Tijuana, a very famous stadium in Mexico. According to reports, the person was found in a grey Toyota SUV that had been abandoned for 3 days. That's really shocking. It was there for 3 days. Due to the amount of time that had passed, authorities stated that the remains were in an advanced state of, decomposition. I mean, just imagine, that's why the smell was so strong. At the moment, there has been no report of any connection between the case and the Iranian delegation, which continues preparing for its debut against New Zealand next Tuesday. Just as a curious fact, it turns out that the Iran national team, for those who don't know, can't stay in the United States. They have to enter on the morning of the match day and leave at night. In other words, once the match ends, they have to return to Mexico, just as you heard. So, they can't stay in the United States because of the conflict between the United States and Iran. Now, that makes a lot of people have questions like the following.
The fact that they found one at Iran's training center, what sense does that make? It could be a complete coincidence, but the fact that it happened at Iran's center is a bit strange, honestly.
I honestly don't think it's strange. That's the problem. I mean, that's the most serious thing of all, that I don't think it's strange. That from my point of view, it makes a lot of sense. Iran chose to stay in Tijuana. Period. Look, just so you understand, we all know that Mexico is a dangerous country, right? We all agree on that. Okay, it turns out that Tijuana makes the rest of Mexico look like child's play. It turns out that on average in Mexico, 22.7 people lose their lives for every 100,000 inhabitants. In other words, 22.7 people are victims of organized crime in Mexico for every 100,000 inhabitants. Keep that in mind. Well, in Tijuana, the number is much worse. Guys, between 91 and 105 people lose their lives for every 100,000 inhabitants in Tijuana. You heard that right? Between 91 and 105 people lose their lives for every 100,000 inhabitants? It's completely insane. We're talking about it being almost 4 or even 5 times more dangerous than the rest of the country. It's about 4 times more dangerous than the rest of the country. I mean, just imagine the level of danger there is in Tijuana. That's why, unfortunately, this doesn't surprise me, because if Mexico is already a dangerous country, well, Tijuana is much more dangerous than the rest of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's sad because this news went viral, another stain on Mexico's record. And what do you want me to say? It's very unfortunate.